playing it now and not Nuke Dog.
I have to wonder if they're somewhat missing their old mid laner Pharrell Lord, who was in the olden days the master of TF and drew a ban every game. But in this one, we see Jax banned first of all here for Ninjas in Pyjamas.
Yeah, so Ninjas in Pyjamas banning away. Zero simply does not play Jax, so they're just gonna ban away. Shown now also to Millenium, of course, we do not play it. You don't have to ban it a single time, so they just want to get rid of it. The Lulu ban coming in from Millenium, same deal as last time. Nuke Dog has been a very strong Lulu player.
Yeah.
Miffy played Lulu as well, not in the Challenge Series, but it's a champ he plays. So banning this one away, simply also to make sure the very strong lane pressure from Nuke Dog won't be there.
So what will they be banning out here for the second one? It's going to be Kha'Zix here. What a surprise.
Yeah.
Take Cotton X out of the game. We saw the impact he had as Evelyn wasn't anywhere near the impact that Millenium need.
So again, actually NIP could first pick this Kha'Zix if they really wanted to pick it up, but instead they want to just try and hurt Millenium. This means NIP now can either first pick someone like Evelyn, can first pick an Elise, can even first pick Lucian as the last option for them. And it means from Millenium's side here, it's going to be hard for them to actually pick something up, and it's not going to be Lux.
Be very surprised if we had a first pick Lux at this stage. Twisted Fate was the final ban here for Millenium, so deeming that worthy this time around of taking away from Nuke Dog after his performance in game number 1. LeBlanc, by the way, was also the final ban for NIP.
And I think this TF ban here either tells two stories. First of all, maybe Curb doesn't feel comfortable enough playing it, or they think NIP would actually first pick it because they ban away these potential first picks in Jax, in Kha'Zix, and they were like, well, what's left now to first pick? Obviously, they want something special here. Aurelia, though, was left open. Banned away in the last game. Zero loves to play it. Been playing it quite a lot. If people saw Copenhagen games, he played it in a lot of the games there. Very strong pickup for NIP.
Always fun to watch a strong Aurelia player as well, and we'll see what Zero can do with it this time around. That brings them Millennium's first 2 picks. Let's see what direction they're going to go. Already locked in fact, with Rise there for Kevin. Or for Curb. Obviously that Rise could be in mid or a top lane, but definitely Lucian for Creatine.
So again, Lucian for Creatine really wants him. He's considered by many the #1 AD carry because again, he is good in every single aspect of the game. Very safe, good wave clear, can push turrets very fast in the lane swap. He brings so many things to the table here. And then with Rise, if it's going to be top lane 1, against Aurelia here, he should be able to farm pretty well. It's going to be hard for Zero to actually directly shut him down unless he gets some help here from Roberto. Rise is a very strong laner by himself. However though, lane swapping wise, he's not the best.
So next picks then for Millenium. Already got the Rise, already got the Lucian there for Creatine. Last support pick of course was Janna. Didn't really have the strength they had in the early game. Well, let's be honest, there wasn't a late game to get to there for Millenium either way. Hovering here over Nami. I'd say J-Ree's probably the most, along maybe with Edward, the diverse support player. We've seen some weirder stuff out of Inzillion, of course, is one that comes to mind. Plays a lot of Blitzcrank in there as well, but it is going to be the Nami locked in for him, and they're going to take Nocturne almost at least in, switch in the last second. Nocturne in the jungle here for Cotton X.
So switching around a little bit, it means for them they can have the Nami wave now as a follow-up when Nocturne engages in, so they can bring in some CC, of course, lock down a target with Nami. Very, very strong once you actually land both the ultimate and your bubble here. It's a lot of CC onto targets. Her early game in the lane is not the strongest, but the same can be said about Leona over here on the other side. So even if they do get a 2v2, both of them should be fairly fine. It can be very dangerous for Nami though coming into the level 6 mark, where of course your mobility is very low and it's very easy for someone like Leona here to land the stuns onto you and you're going to be very squishy. So it could be a potential for NIP to shut him down. And one thing we didn't talk about, Evelyn was locked in for them here. They decide to actually go for it this time, even though Cotton X picked it last time, it didn't work for him. But that was mainly due to the early game pressure, the map control NIP got, all the deep wards here. If they make sure not to give Millenium the chance, the Evelyn pick could be very strong.
Well, let's talk about these final 2 lock-ins here. Freeze had a brilliant game with Draven. He's going to have Draven again. We're going to see Nuke Dog this time around on Zed, a typical Nuke Dog champion. We've already talked about how Exhaust does a lot against this kind of champion. But what will they go again with? I asked on Twitter before this game, will this counter pick make it any easier for them? And they've locked in Soraka.
They've got the Soraka. Gonna bring the Exhaust, of course, to really shut down Nuke Dog here. It's gonna be very hard for him to kill Soraka in the lane. And then you can see Curb spamming away the Star Call, doing a lot of damage because of course Zed needs to get in the melee range to get all the CS here. Take a lot of poke from this Soraka, so very strong pickup from Millenium. The issue, however, comes in the fact that if NIP gets a good start, they will of course do the 1v1 split push they love to do here. Solar Zero in one lane, Nuke Dog in the other lane, then you have Evelyn roaming between the map here. You don't really know where she is. Oh, you want to start a fight in the bottom lane against Nuke Dog. All of a sudden Roberto joins in. You didn't expect it, turns it all around here. Very scary for Millenium if they do fall behind. But teamfight wise, straight up 5 versus 5. Millenium, very strong comp this time. They do need to go late game though to really shine, especially with this Rise.
Get that Rise really pumped up there, and everything stacked up that needs to be stacked up. Also very interested to see, I mean, if you think about that last game, NIP showed Millenium how you ward against an Evelyn. Millenium only really needs to try and copy that this time around to keep Hulberto out of the game. I'm not sure, or maybe more as a question, can they do it? Are they strong enough here? Are they on NIP's level when it comes to that kind of map control?
So laning matchup-wise here, I actually feel like Millenium are in a position where they can take control of the lanes down the bottom lane here. Leona Draven, of course, need a bit of time to build up, need some levels on the Leona before you really start getting the damage, where Lucian Nami can poke on towards them, of course, get the pressure there. Mid lane, we talk about Soraka with the exhaust. Very hard for Nuke Dog to actually kill him. And then top lane-wise, okay, Rise won't be the one to just destroy his lane and shove you or push you out of it, but he will do, or should do fairly well against this Aurelia. So in that case, yes, they can actually get the wards in if they manage to do well in the early game.
So here we go then into game number 2. Ninjas in Pyjamas 1-0 up against Millenium. Just 2 wins away are NIP from the LCS Summer split. A position which, no, they probably feel by now is rightly theirs. They've done so well in Challenger. Maybe a bit of underestimating KMT happened to them before, but they're not going to make that same mistake twice. Or so you would definitely hope as an NIP fan. Millenium right now stacked up around the red buff. NIP, more of a line setup. And there is the vote. 89% for Ninjas in Pyjamas. That's swinging even heavily in their favor since the LOLesports.com vote at the start of the game.
NIP though needs to be careful going in towards this jungle of Millenium, because with Nami, with Rise here, there's a lot of CC you can chain onto a target. And Soraka level 1, very, very strong. Just runs around, spam Star Call all the time.
And throws bananas, the real danger of a Soraka. NIP here are waiting on that bottom side. We already see the recall hit by Nami there on that backside, but NIP are going to come into this one. Have they spotted him there? Nami is gone. Kevin trying to recall here as well. They're going to come into this one 5 versus 4. Spotting Millenium walking away from that one. Question is, how will NIP stay here? We already saw them in game number 1. They went to the enemy red buff, warded, came back out again and made sure that there, and then double back onto the blue buff. Exactly.
Yeah. They can do the same here. It's getting really late though. They have to run straight towards the blue buff. Millenium staying with every single member around this area, making sure they can pick up the red buff. Opens up for NIP then to go. They're actually pinging over there. Maybe they just want... No, all the wards are gone from Miffy. He started the same thing. Full on wards, and then of course health potions so he can sustain himself from the poke from Millenium in case they get the standard lanes. Look here, he's going towards top lane. They know Millenium's dual lane is going to be top here, so they want 2v2 this time. No lane swaps.
Not challenging on that red, even though they had vision, and if you look at the minimap, probably a wise choice as well. 4 men on that top side. NIP here going for that blue buff. Kevin is going to try and run some interference on that one, try and stop NIP getting it so cleanly. Won't happen for them though. Hulberto smites that one away. He can retreat then off towards his red buff. It's going to leave us with that 2v2 on the top side of the map here though.
Connex actually spotted out by the ping ward from Miffy, but both supports moving down here. It's going to be hard for NIP to try and stop this one. Miffy going to take some poke, being forced back. Once again, they trade buffs, but it's NIP doing the aggressive moves and also making sure they know where Millenium is going beforehand, so they decide the lanes.
It's going to be Draven, Leona versus Lucian, Nami up on that top side of the map, and we've already seen that Miffy being a big contributor to First Blood so far for NIP. Connex coming up from this one after picking up that blue buff, closer obviously to this top lane after that steal. He is spotted by a ward though, so NIP shouldn't have any problem. Cottonex backs off.
And I like this full ward start from Miffy. As long as he can survive the laning phase without this item, normally you would say you don't want to go in a 2v2 when you start full wards because you're at a disadvantage from level 1. You don't have any item here. But of course with coin over on On Jerry's side, he doesn't actually do too much because it doesn't bring him any combat stats he can really use towards Miffy or Freeze here. Zoro going very aggressive. Evelyn joining in.
Alberto is there. Actually, they put down the cage onto him, but they dash forward. This is surely first blood. One more hate spike will do it. It's Alberto that has that early game impact and picks up the kill for NIP.
And now top lane going aggressive.
Oh, Creatine is pretty low from this. I'm not sure they've got the damage. Freeze gonna keep putting down those axes, but not quite enough. You see there, Freeze's score at the end of game number 1. We'll see if he can beat that this time around. Creatine very, very low in there. Let's not forget that Jerry does have that heal to give over to him. We'll see if that's enough to keep them alive in that lane. Both AD carries we should mention because that was slightly different to game number 1. AD carries with heal. The support's both gone for exhaust this time.
Yeah, both with exhaust. Of course, Millenium want to make sure they have exhaust every single team fight for Nuke Dog. Make sure just shut him down completely when he actually jumps in. But I think we saw down the bottom lane here with the early gank from Roberto on to Kevin could be one of the reasons NIP wanted this dual lane and these standard lanes, because Evelyn is very strong in standard lanes. When it comes to lane swaps, of course, she doesn't bring too much, and NIP waiting around here. They want to go aggressive. Summoners are ready though for Millenium. Let's see what they can do. Here we go.
There they go. They're going in towards Creatine there. They managed to lock him up. The bubble doesn't land. Creatine does use his summoner heal. The exhaust is onto him, and Jerry putting damage back on towards Freeze. They decide not to push any further from that one. Action might not be too far from over though. We have Continex down at the bottom side. He's already going to hit the recall though.
Yeah, he was just waiting for a counter gank. They do have the pink ward here to spot out Roberto if he was moving. He actually decided to cancel. He's a level behind, and Roberto is moving down. Never mind, he's tricking us. He's actually going towards the mid lane.
Tricking you. Don't bring me into this one.
Joe, I saw you.
I want to point out the wards here. Alberto has managed to get in once again behind Curb. This could be dangerous for him. It flashes. They put the exhaust down on towards Alberto. That's going to be enough damage for him anyway. It's Alberto that gets a second kill.
And again, this all comes down to the fact that NIP got the standard lane, so the pressure from Evelyn is there in the early game, because lane swap wise, you know where she's gonna be. There's not gonna be any pressure on you in the mid lane. Now though, because it's standard lanes, because Alberto's been very aggressive at both the solo lanes here, picking up 2 kills, really trying to shut down Millenium early on, like we saw in the last game from NIP.
And we see Nocturne, obviously Continex, a champion who wants to spend a bit more time in the jungle now to get that feral flare going on. He is still behind or just slightly ahead in the CS despite Alberto spending so much time in these lanes.
The thing is, Continex actually spent time himself trying to gank, but the first one he tried to do up in top lane, that was a ward, nothing happened. Then he moved up a little bit between mid and top, couldn't really decide where he wanted to go, ended up in nothing. Then he went down bottom lane to try and counter gank Alberto. Alberto was going towards the mid lane, so once again, Continex was just wasting time. He's behind in CS, he's behind in XP. Obviously 2 kills on the side of Roberto as well, but now he's coming towards this bottom lane here. Kevin is zoomed though.
Zoro is actually going to turn this one around. Has he got enough damage to finish off the ultimate? One more would do it. Doesn't have it available though, and that means he has to turn around. Almost coming out with a kill there in a 2 versus 1. That is a very bad sign here for this early to mid-game sequence for Millenium when they can't even 2v1 Zoro.
So the double Doran's Blade here on Zoro make him very strong in the lane. Of course, Rise want to get some time to stack up all his things. He simply didn't have enough damage to lane. His mana was almost gone. He could do one more spell, and then Continex without any buffs, of course, wasn't he actually able to do much either. Zoro just turned it around, and again, he's doing so well against Kevin in these 1v1s. Fair enough, he got the help from Alberto early on, got the early kill here, but he went over to Alberto, so didn't actually do too much from Zoro's side.
Almost took himself a kill there as well, as they spot that pink ward, which would hinder Alberto's progress around the map. That's going to be cleared out here. It's not just yet by Mythic, just afterwards. You'll see them coming in, and actually they will end up losing that ward that Mythic did just put down a couple of moments ago. That came from his trinket though, so not the biggest loss in the world for NIP.
Let's see here, actually. Millenium taking a different tactic to how you want to try and ward against an Evelyn. They do some defensive ping wards all around the map and hope for Alberto to then move very far up before he ganks the lanes. Where NIP, of course, changed it around, got in with the D-wards, but also depends on how the lanes are going. Millenium at the moment are not winning the lanes, so they won't be able to get in and get all the D-wards, and that's why they need to put these defensive pink wards instead to try and spot the Evelyn.
which you have to fear as well. Sometimes can come a little bit too late once you see him behind, especially Kurt. We saw that second kill actually coming in. He was already behind Kurt before they actually spotted him coming in.
And an early Cutlass here for Nuke. Often you see their Zeds go for Brutalize as the first item, but he decided he needed some sustain, of course, against this Soraka. Full sustain on Soraka, a lot of poke. So very smart pickup. Also helps him when he actually sets up a gang with Alberto with the slow.
Onyx actually waiting on the top side of the map here. That, in theory, is a great idea to come around, but look at the pink ward there on the bottom side of this river brush. That will spot Cottonex coming around towards this top lane. Don't think there's much of an opportunity to get in here on Mithy and Freeze.
You know, that's another bonus with the defensive pink wards, because you can Nocturne with his ultimate. You can always find, or at least try to find somewhere to gank, because you know there's no ward, but don't feel confident of going in for this one. Jerry isn't level 6 yet, so he would need to land his bubble in order to actually set something up. And so far, he's not been landing the bubbles. In the few fights we've seen, the bubbles have missed, and NIP would put a lot of pressure though, but Millenium always responded really well, and not much actually happened. Both are just farming away, and Keraton actually pulling slightly ahead.
Slightly in front on that front as the wards start to go down. 0-0. Now, when you're behind against Inerelli, that erratic dash in there between minions sometimes can cause you to back away. Just a little bit scary whether he's going to come straight in onto you. Kevin does back away. Also, because of the presence of Alberto, they're getting rid of another pink ward that Millenium had in that area.
But this means Cottonex now can go towards top lane. They know Alberto is not nearby, so they can go very aggressive for this one. No chance of a counter gank because they spotted him. NIP though back very far away. Miffy with level 6 as well, so NIP could actually pile a lot of CC onto them, and now they spotted Cottonex, so NIP moves towards the Dragon. Spot the jungler, do something else. Dragon, though NIP started, nobody's nearby from Millenium to try and stop it.
And with that, you have to say NIP come out on top of that little game of spot the jungler as well, picking up that first Dragon of the game. That's going to increase their gold lead, which is 2,000 gold here, 10 minutes in after getting those first couple of kills. Definitely going to plan once again for them. This mid lane, as you said, a little bit of shut down the Zed with the Soraka. NIP doing a fine job there, and Nuke in particular, 83 to 74 CS. They've just stolen a blue buff away, and they instantly get those deeper wards down with it.
So the early games from Alberto helped the solo laners. They are the two lanes being ahead, and of course the two lanes NIP wants to have, or wants them to be ahead, because they're going to be the split pushers going late. And again, they did the same thing they did last game here. Soros here will push the wave all the way up to the tower of Kevin, force him to stay there and farm, and then they just take an objective. First the Dragon, then they move towards the blue buff. Kevin couldn't move away because he needs to pick up this CS, otherwise he falls too far behind. And with Ryze, of course, you want to get your Rod of Ages as fast as possible now, so you got the two items stacking up. At the moment, it's only the tier, and he's far away from the Rod of Ages.
And 0-0 freezing that lane as best as he can underneath his own tower, as Alberto is finally going to spot that pink ward. It's been there for a good 8 minutes, I think we can say by now, as they move off towards Curb. Going to steal away that big Wraith. Alberto will be happy with that. And the pink ward taken down. They're going to get the other pink ward that's down. Oh, maybe not. I think they will end up going up there. Alberto is on his way up, and there they do. Trinket ward, spot that one, and will take it away. So 2 pink wards taken down on the top side of the map. That basically opens things up quite a lot here from NIP's side. We saw there that Cottonex did just ward inside of his own jungle as well. So he's really feeling that pressure.
Is simply because the pink ward was nearby. Oh, wave coming in by Jerry here. Misses Freeze though, backing out. Cottonex was nearby, wanted to join in with his ultimate. However, though, the ward he put in his own jungle, simply because both Nuke and Alberto was in there, cleared the pink ward. They have no vision of them running out. He's like, I'm not gonna face check Evelyn and a Zed.
Luckily for him, didn't happen anyway. Both of them did walk away, but look at this, Alberto again headed down towards that bottom side of the map, and once again he will actually be finding himself another pink ward that was put down earlier on to stop him having that impact on this bottom lane. And whilst that's stopping him actually ganking, he's also forcing Millenium to buy a lot more pink wards to invest into this one, and also with the ward gone, play a lot more safely.
Especially the play safe part is the annoying thing when you're against Evelyn, because the thing is, when you're a vision of her, you never know if she's going to join in. She can do it so fast. Even your green wards to do absolutely nothing unless you get them in the deep in the jungle. So that's why, of course, getting these ping wards down is so important for NIP, opens up the map. However though, Curb bought a new one, and Kevin actually had one down bottom, got cleared by Zoro again though.
Yeah, that's a difficult thing for him, especially when Zoro is keeping that wave so close to his own turret. You don't have much choice as Kevin. You either stay away from the experience and the goal down there, or maybe get ganked at the same time. Actually, Cottonex, it may be that solution here. As he comes in, always coming up towards his top side, but again, the bubble from Jerry just landing too short. And look at this, as a reply from the ninjas in Pyjamas. Alberto and Nuke Duck were headed up there. They've pinged right down on top of them.
Got the ping ward
Another
again.
ping ward, yeah.
It's not good for Millenium here. Every single ping ward completely just gets taken away by NIP. This one, Curb just boarded. He just placed it before he ran up to the top lane. Instantly NIP gets it. It's 100 gold pretty much wasted, and it means now for Curb, before he backs again, he's going to be playing very scared.
Top lane again, Freeze and Creatine just exchanging here. Actually, Freeze completely out of mana from this one. See if they decide to stay or to go aggressive or to stay as they are. Also seen a couple of items actually coming in here. Nuke Duck did finish off now his Blade of the Rune King. We'll see if he wants to use that spike to get involved across the map.
Once he gets the Brutalizer, he can really start the split pushing. Of course, already with Blade of the Rune King, you're very strong in the 1v1s. He's moving towards the top lane here. Let's see. Millenium, no ward. They might go for this one.
Oh, this could be bad news for Millenium. Zenith Blade lands are going for Creatine. Deathmark comes down. There comes the wave, but it's not enough to stop them. And they absolutely decimate Creatine for their third kill of the game.
Third kill of the game here. Nuke Dog is roaming up with the new Blade of the Rune King. Easy kill for him. If he lands every single stun onto Creatine, he's just locked down. He could have flashed instantly, but he would have to do it very early, and Alberto now being caught out.
Oh, this could be bad news for him. Actually, he's going to throw his ultimate down there as Nuke Duck comes from around the side as well. Didn't want to pick that fight with Curb, who has both exhaust and, of course, his wish as well for a good heal on top of it. Actually picking up Glacial Shroud here as his first item.
Of course, early armor, cooldown reduction, everything he needs here to make sure he doesn't die to Nuke Duck, and that's where we need to see how Millenium decides to play after the laning phase. Because then, of course, Nuke Dog and Zoro are going to split push their lanes, and nobody from Millenium at the moment can actually kill them 1v1. Yes, of course, Curb will be able to hold him, at least hold Nuke Dog in a split push for now. But he's never really going to apply any pressure towards him, no more than we've seen here in the laning phase, where Nuke Dog is just farming away. And at the same time, Curb, yes, with his ultimate, he can help out his team, but that's about it. And you invest now a lot of effort into at least trying to shut down Nuke Dog, who's just going to free farm against you anyway. So I'm not sure how Millenium decides to try and deal with this split push later on, especially also because Zoro is a lot stronger than Kevin.
Now Alberto moving in, they're going to try and go for Kevin. It'll require a dive, and actually Kevin used his flash there to get back to his turret. And NIP not actually wanting to follow through on that one. No risks really needed for NIP. Don't have to risk the lead that they've built up for themselves. Here, there's a Deathmark going on to Curb. He's out of mana here as he puts down that exhaust, but I'm not sure it's enough. It's not going to be enough. Nuke Dog goes in, goes straight back to his initial shadow, gets another kill. 2-0-1 now.
A very good move by Nuke Dog. Notice there was no mana onto Curb. His ultimate is still ready, couldn't use it, could do nothing here except for exhaust him, and Nuke Dog just chased up, continued to go with the Blade of the Rune King, of course. Meaning, Dragon's being started again by NIP. Nuke Dog gonna join in. Zoro is actually in the base, but teleport is ready, so he can come in if something should happen. Doesn't look like it. Top lane though, the bubble lands.
Bubble does land. The tidal wave gonna go afterwards as well, but they're not taking too much damage from this one. Exhaust goes down. They manage to lock up crits, and the damage massive as a wish comes in as well. Now we can see a double teleport. Nithy is going very low. Actually, Zoro cancelled his teleport, and that will be the first kill of the game back for Millenium.
So they finally picked up a kill here. Bubble landed from Nithy. Now Connect's going aggressive.
Onto Nuke Dog here. This is 1v1 and doing a great job of it as well. Connect's picking up a very simple kill in the end onto Nuke Dog.
A very easy kill. Nuke Dog overextended, tried to get the turret because Curb wasn't nearby, and Connect just went straight for him. Double buff, killed him. There's no dragon though, so they need to go down and try and stop Zoro here. Oh, sad.
Won't be able to. He just walks away from that one. Actually, we do see in this top side of the map, Freeze trying to hold off, but they've got Alberto coming in from the backside. Creatine overextended. He's going to go down, and I'm not sure that Jerry is going to live through this one. He's not. It's a double kill for Draven.
784 bonus gold for Draven here. Really been stacking up his passive. A lot of CS before anything actually happened, before a kill was picked up. but he's going to be very happy. He can go back, go towards the Infinity Edge once again, and just continue to do like he did last game. Solo Zero coming towards Curb, no summoners.
Dashing off to the minion there first of all. That's going to get him down to half HP. Gets locked up here by the Zenith Blade. Cornex is there as well. Have they got the damage? Actually, no. And Cornex trying to turn it around there. They got Zoro Zero decently low. But look at this. A move from Ninjas in Pyjamas to the top side where they just got the double kill. That's going to mean their first turret of the game.
So all we can make of this is Cornex needs to be everywhere on the map at the moment, because he's actually the only person who can respond to all the things NRP is doing. Every time he's there, he's been trying to get up something, he got the kill onto Nuke before, and he needs to just continue to do this, because the rest of Millenium are falling behind. He's the only one keeping up here.
You talked about Nuke needing his Brutalizer before he does some real damage with that Blade of the Ruined King. I was going to say, that's kind of a step further in that one. Last Whisper finished off for him, got himself boots of speed as well. Frozen Heart was finished off by Kerp and probably kept him alive there as he was attacked by Zoro Zero in that middle lane. He's just going to try and farm back. He's a little bit behind, 25 CS or so in this mid lane. And had some trouble dealing with Nuke up until now.
A lot of trouble. Of course, the early game from Roberto really helped out Nuke, get the CS lead, and then he just kept it from there. And now down the bottom lane, pink ward once again by Kevin, gonna be cleared out. Connex is nearby, ultimate is ready, they can go for this fight.
Can he turn this one around? Gonna dive in, Kevin's down to half HP though. Wish is gonna be used here, and they do manage to take down Zoro Zero.
Very good response here. The pink ward spot out Roberto, they knew something was about to happen. Connex at the right time, helping Kevin get a much needed kill. Rod of Ages was completed by Kevin now, but still very late. Normally you want to get it between like the 13-14 minute mark. I believe he got it at like 18 minutes. So gonna take some time before it's fully stacked up. His power spike is gonna be delayed.
I have to give credit here though to Millenium. And certainly Cornex has managed to reach Alberto now a couple of times in a row. Obviously helps when he stood on top of a pink ward as well, and you can actually see where he is, but he was down there in anticipation of Evelyn trying to come in there and get that kill onto Kevin. And they've picked up a couple of kills in a row here, so it's not looking all that bad for Millenium. And of course, the longer the game goes on, the stronger they're going to be getting as well.
Yeah, but still also the split push from NRP is going to get stronger. Irelia in the late game, very, very strong. Zed, of course, very strong. And we already see NRP now going out in these lanes. The issue for NRP, however, is actually the lack of wave play in the mid lane. Freeze, yes, he can use his ultimate to clear the wave, but then once it's on cooldown, he actually needs to just auto-attack kill the minions. And that's where Millenium can apply a lot of pressure, try and land a bubble, set something up with Cornex. For now though, the turret is going to go down.
Yeah, not having any problems there. Actually managing to knock Creighton away. There goes Zed, and that's a kill for Nuke. No, not even needing the death mark there by the end. And that is a kill which Millenium, they saw they were giving up that turret. Freeze knocks him aside, and honestly, those are the kind of kills that you shouldn't be giving up.
Yeah. Crescent basically just stayed for too long. Got an axe in his face. Nuke did a lot of damage to him, and then he just went straight in for it. Nuke actually delayed his ultimate afterwards, but now going aggressive onto Kevin.
Going on to Kevin, they're going to knock him to the side again. Freeze just sidesteps the tidal wave. Couldn't quite get in there to do enough damage, but they're onto this turret nonetheless. In fact, this is a 4-man push from the Ninjas in Pyjamas. They take turret number 3. Alberto just trying to flank around there and get involved. Was spotted out by Cottonex. In the meantime, actually, we did see Kerp taking down the outer turret in the top lane, going for the inner one, but Zoro Zero teleported it.
Yeah, so NRP actually decided to abandon the side lanes and just rush in towards the mid lane. Also because they got this kill onto Creaton and just took the next turret, and then with teleport, join in. Kirby stayed to split push in the top lane, couldn't go in and join. And then as soon as the wave actually was there, teleport stopped everything. Connex though, down the bottom lane once again. Nuke canceled his recall. No, starting again. Nothing's gonna happen here. He wanted him to go aggressive onto Kevin, and then he would respond. And look at this. Blade of the Ruined King onto Nocturne. This is a carry jungler. He needs to be the one for Millenium doing everything this game.
Feral Flare finished the course for him. Didn't spot exactly when that one was done, but I can imagine in 22 minutes in. That's been done for a little while. Meanwhile, Kevin now rise to be not the biggest split push master in the world, but he's going to be able to push down that lane with no one else there to really stop him and take the second turret of the game here for Millenium. Meanwhile, we did see Nuke down there. He recalled, picked himself now up that Brutalizer as well.
Yeah, going down towards the bottom lane. Kevin recalls now. Teleport is ready. Sword Zero is on cooldown, so they could try and set something up here. Seems like he just want to return to the bottom lane. Alberto's there again, trying to set something up, and Sword Zero going aggressive onto Curve.
Doing a lot of damage here. Early wish was used. No, it wasn't. That was just his heal. That's how much he heals for himself there. Now with that needlessly large rod in. Either way, it doesn't matter that much. And Ninjas in Pyjamas, they've got deep wards by the blue buff. They can see if anyone's coming in there. They're going to take a free drag on Millenium. Unable to do anything about that. And the dragon domination that Ninjas in Pyjamas have had continues in this game.
Continues, and now a lot of damage onto Kraton here. Miffy, there's the ultimate.
Caught out completely, but they've got Nocturne coming into it. There is a tidal wave to knock up freeze, but Alberto comes around the side. Can he get the kill? He does get the kill, and they have to back away. Mithy is now the target here for Millenium. Can't see him walking away with Kevin around the side. It'll be a double kill for Cottonex.
Absolutely fantastic bobble from Jerry. Landed onto all 3 members of NIP here, otherwise Cottonex would have died. He's very squishy, remember, but the bobble stopped everything. Kevin joined in, picked up the kills. Millenium is doing a good job trying to respond here. Look at first freeze. The single target damage of Draven we've talked about before, insane. Cottonex though, again at the right time, joining in. Alberto, then notice the bobble here from Jerry. Oh, that is beautiful. Let's just leave it here for just a few seconds. Like, that is beautiful. Kevin, of course, teleported in behind him. Join in, 2 kills. Millenium responding. That bubble, man.
2 for 1 in the end. Yeah, you know, we talked about the Nami bubbles in the earlier game. They were trying so hard to get Nocturne involved in that duo in the top lane, but the bubbles weren't landing, and without that initial bit of CC, they weren't able to follow up there. That's the kind of bubble, though, that can change how games go. Still a big gold lead. We can't really argue with that point here. The Ninjas in Pyjamas sat about 6,000 gold into the lead, and Alberto now having a look into the jungle. Not sure he really wants to challenge Kevin, though. He's got a level over it.
But I like actually what NIP is doing here with swapping the solo laners. So you put Zoro Zero up in top. We saw him before when he had to fight against Curb. He couldn't actually kill him, but still he can stay there and farm. Nuke Dog, it's hard for him to kill Curb as well. That's why they moved him down to the bottom lane where Kevin is. No exhaust. In a 1v1, Nuke Dog will be able to kill him. And that's why NIP want to keep him here for now. But it's also why we see Millenium putting a lot of effort into keeping members around in case a fight should break out.
Yeah, actually that Freeze going a little bit different on his build path this time around. Last game, of course, it was Bloodthirster into Infinity Edge into Last Whisper. This time around, he's gone Bloodthirster, Last Whisper. Got a Quicksilver Sash now as well, and he's probably going to go now to his Infinity Edge with that BF sword.
So the Quicksilver Sash simply to make sure the CC from Millenium. Here, oh, Nuke Dog going very aggressive in the bot lane.
Yeah, Kevin here is going to be under a little bit of pressure, but Nuke Dog himself will be chased down, and look at the damage out of Cottonex. He's now on a rampage, and this might not be over. Alberto got to be pressured. Mithy was coming around. They had Draven in the mid lane. Millenium will be happy for the one-hit kill and run away with that one on towards Nuke Dog.
And we just talked about how Millenium keep members nearby towards Kevin here because they know Nuke Dog wants to go aggressive. He went in, instantly turned around. Ultimate was used from Curb, and of course Cottonex coming in as well, doing so much damage, but Curb now in trouble.
Yeah, I'm not sure that he's even going to be able to get much heal up in this one. We see that he's just locked up with everything from Mithy, and they move up, take the turret, get a kill, and just back away.
Curb is only able to try and wave clear in these split pushes here. He can't kill Zoro Zero, so he had to actually run away to the mid lane to clear it, while the rest of Millenium was in the bot lane. Easy turret in from Millenium, good rotation, he stayed on. They're actually starting the Baron. There's no wards from Millenium's side. Curb is dead for another 17 seconds, and they're not even moving.
Not moving because they either have no idea of it, or they can't challenge for this one without Curb there. Either way, they're not going to get close to this one. That Baron going down so very, very quickly. Yes, falling a little bit low on health, but they can smite that one down. First Baron of the game goes over to NIP. Can they jump over here? They decide against it. Actually, I'm not sure how much vision they had on that top side. No, doesn't really matter to them. They get the Baron, they clear out that ward that went through. It's a good chunk of gold to go home and spend.
Very good move. I mean, they knew Cottonex ultimate was on cooldown. They knew Kevin. Well, Kevin actually... No, Kevin didn't teleport either, so he wouldn't be able to join in. And of course, they spotted some of Millenium far away. Curb being gone. Instant gone for Baron. No response here, so... Very fast, very good pickup by NIP, and making sure to take full advantage of the kill they got to Curb. Who's really building anti-Zed and Aurelia here. Sonya's Outlast now. So much armor.
Sonya's with that frozen heart. Actually, there's 2,000 gold for 0-0 to spend with that Irelia when he does finally head himself back home, which he has just done here. And he's going to finish off the Randuin's Omen. All good on that side. And actually picking up a pickaxe in there as well, so getting a bit more damage into that build that he's got going on. It's a 7,000 gold lead here currently for NIP.
Yeah, and who's going to kill him? I mean, Zoraka is not exactly the one who runs in and just instantly bursts you down. She needs a long fight here, and he's also going to focus so much on just trying to push down these towers, so the extra attack damage is going to do a lot for him. Connex, though, he is the guy we have highlighted before, and he's really the guy trying to keep Millenium in this, trying to avoid Millenium going 0-2, which of course would be very hard for him to come back from.
We said it earlier on that he's done very well with Kha'Zix, not really impressed us with any of his other champions, but this one may be a different performance from him. Already at 4-0-1 trying to get into 0-0, but he got stunned up straight. We're actually deathmarked there onto Kevin. They can pretty much just heal that all back up with Curb hanging around. But NAP looking like they want to at least pressure, maybe force Millenium to back away from this inner turret on that bottom lane. Of course, the last inner turret that stands on the map for Millenium.
It's very hard for NIP to just siege down a tower. They don't really have any champions doing it well. They can dive onto Millenium, but that's risky against all this armor, against the Soraka, of course, the CC from Nami. So they need to actually just fall back to split pushing. Even though they are so far ahead and should be winning every single team fight by now, they can just go in and just push down the tower because Millenium is there to defend. So they need to split out on the map and try to set something up there. As long as Connex got his ultimate ready, he will also be the one to actually put some pressure from Millenium side, trying to set something up.
And also that making the forcible defense there from Millenium on that inner turret also basically gives them a free dragon to just fall straight back onto. Got the wards down in the jungle to see if they were being chased through as well. And that was the 4th dragon of the game that's been killed. All 4 over to NIP, of course, with that Baron. So doing a really good job of those big global objectives once again. Now just going to run through, probably going to push out this top wave here as well. Obviously, as I said, the inner turret in the bottom lane is the only one left standing currently for Millenium. Probably the reason why they were trying so desperately to hold on to that one earlier.
And all this dragon control from NIP you talked about, it boils down to the fact that Millenium is losing the lane. They're losing the early game. Roberto this time was the big guy to do the 2 early kills they got in the lanes, put his solo laners ahead. And then for there on, especially also with the dual lanes being top, when your solo laners are so far ahead, you can take these dragons without any issues early game. You get the timer, you get the lead going, and NIP just kept on to it. With the Baron as well, of course, Millenium just defending away, making sure they don't actually want to go in for a straight fight as long as there's a Baron buff on the NIP side. And we do see now, Lucian up in the top lane, Nuke thinking about going to actually ping him out, but instead goes towards the mid lane. And look at the ward control though from Millenium. In their own jungle, full vision of everything. They want to know if NIP is moving around.
Well, NIP are moving around with 3 sweepers, trying to get that control back. There are a couple of pink wards in their inventory as well, so that they can hold on to that one. And one of the differences here between the 2 Evelyns that we've seen, in fact, forget that because they may go for 0-0. Not something that they should do though. The rest of NIP were just waiting off to the side. But if we think back to that last game, they controlled the Evelyn so well because the lanes were ahead and they were able to go into the enemy jungle and get deep vision of them. This time around, Millenium weren't ahead. They had to scramble, throwing down pink ward after pink ward after pink ward. I'd actually love to know how many pink wards were bought this game by Millenium.
A lot.
Because that is going to be a fairly big total, that's for sure. And without that control, Alberto just ran rings around him in the early stage. And you just mentioned the control that they had on this top side. NIP already started to move up there to gain a little bit back of it.
But still, NIP don't really know where they can go at the moment because, again, killing Soraka is not going to happen. And we've seen every time they try to kill Kevin, Connex would be there to join in, turn it around. So NIP just farming away, actually pushing the waves, now backing off for multiple members going back to base, back to shop. There should be quite a lot of goal on some of them. But as you said yourself, the Evelyn pick, or the Evelyn thing early game. Millenium, they got the ping wards after the damage was done. The 2 early ganks had already happened, the 2 kills had gone over to him, and then they went back for the first time, bought the ping wards, managed to avoid ganks for quite a while. But then from there on, as soon as NIP spotted all the ping wards, they just cleared them away, and Millenium didn't really get too much from it, actually.
We're not too far away from a 10,000 gold lead here as well, and we have 1.5 minutes until the next Baron of the game is going to start to come in play. So see that a couple of wards were cleared out by Millenium here a little bit deeper into their own jungle, but they're certainly going to need a stronger control of the vision if they're to even challenge for this next Baron to when that comes into play in just over a minute's time. We already see that Zoro here moving up from the side, will be spotted by that ward that was put down just a few moments earlier from Millenium, and you see there NIP starting the scans on the top side.
And also look here, Zoro with the Zephyr picked up, of course, with the enchantment to his boots, his mobility, like he's so fast around this map. He can just rotate around, very hard to catch him out. Connex needs to spell shield the stun from Zoro when he goes towards him, otherwise there's no chance the Fear is even going to activate. And even if it do, with the tenacity from Aurelia, with the Zephyr of course, it's going to be very hard for him to lock down Zoro for a long time. And then he's so fast he can just move around the map. So while he won't be able to kill someone like Soraka, Millenium, is going to be very hard for him to even kill him. So he can just stay there and farm.
And he plays the perfect distraction here with 15 seconds for Baron. They know that they have to stick around for Zoro. Yeah. Teleport available if he then has to go towards his Baron. So it's a bit of a make or break scenario here for Millenium. Do they go in there pretty much blind at this stage? You can see trying to check out those brushes, using the spell shields as they go through. NIP actually starting to fall away. They know that Millenium are coming their way. Myth is actually going to go right into the middle of them, puts down the solar flare. The teleports are going to start coming in. Continent's actually going deep, but he may get locked off from this one. We do see the Witch come down, but Continent is going to fall. They did manage to get one kill onto Humberto, but I don't think any more are going to follow from them. Meanwhile, Nukeduck off to the side here. Currently a 1 kill apiece scenario. Don't think any more are going to come down from it now.
Very, very strong teamfight showing from Millenium though. They are very far behind in goal and yet managed to actually trade 1 for 1. Nukeduck stayed in the backside. He wasn't actually touched. Got his Guardian Angel here. And we just saw Connex go towards Freeze here. Doing a lot of damage, doing so much, generally just being so hard for NIP to kill. Also with Soraka running around. And now going towards Freeze.
This could be dangerous for NIP. They actually went the top way around to keep Millenium zoned out. Kerp actually going to be dived on there, but Mithy will fall. Zhonya's from Kerp was used. And that will be another kill back, and it stops NIP getting that inner tower.
And we talked about it all the way back in Champs, like how the team fighting come from Millenium is very, very strong. We see it here again. NIP try to do something, turns around. Like, our last being popped from Kerb, he's not gonna die. And then Miffy just stays in there, like there's no way for him to go out. And he's dead. Easy for Millenium to simply get a kill here. And hard, very, very hard for NIP, even though they are so far ahead to actually win a team fight.
Gonna take a Dragon here. 35 minutes in, still worth a decent chunk of gold for them. That puts them closer to that 10,000 gold lead. And again, the stats, complete control over the Baron, well, the Baron as well, but the Dragon so far for NIP. Millenium are pushing out a little bit further once again though, and make that point once more that they need to make sure that they've got wards down on their top side of their own jungle and a little bit further out as well to see what's happening on the Baron itself. Right now, going into their own jungle as a group, that's how unsafe they're feeling about maybe walking into the likes of Nukeduck. NIP are going to move towards Baron once again. More wards down.
NIP almost need to bait out a split push, because if they do go out in a split push, we've seen it before. Soraka is fine in her own lane, just wave clearing, and up in top lane with Kevin. Nocturne will join in, turn around, and actually win in favor of Millenium. So NIP needs to bait out a split push, or it could be an option for them. Now it seems like they want to go for the Baron, but if they do bait out the split push, force Millenium out in these lanes, and then quickly rotate 5 members towards the mid lane, and instantly just go down, take down the tower, so Zero can tank it even if there's no minions. It's hard for them because of the lack of wave clear, so it's easy for someone like Kraton to just clear the wave beforehand, but that's why NIP needs to force Millenium out in the lanes and then just rotate quickly towards the mid lane. There's a lot of mobility on the Z. We talked about the movement speed on Zero, so they can be there faster than Millenium to try and set something up. Unless they want to go for team fights, but we've seen it before. Millenium actually do really well in these fights.
That ward just timing out before Mythic could get his scan down. Bubble not quite landing, but again, Zoro moving in towards that inner turret. And look at this, Ryze is not there this time. There's no teleport either for Kevin. Zoro0 does have his teleport available. Is he going to back off and TP in? We see the NIP have already started off the Baron. No, they haven't. That's a lie. Clearing the wards, first of all. Now would have been a good time to start things off, though, with Rise moving over without the teleport. There is the talisman going to be popped. Are they going to be able to get in there? Nope. Mithy is able to walk off. More wards going down. Nuke just trying to harass from the side as well. But in the end, Zoro0 gets that turret. He's going to force a move from Millenium.
Millenium needs to do something. You just talked about how there's no teleport on Kevin, so he's running between top lane and mid lane, or bot lane and mid lane, because he doesn't know where to go. He needs to be around the Baron. At the same time, he needs to stop Zoro0. So NIP doing a very good job getting a tower here because of the teleport. And now they started this Baron. Millenium, though, are very close. They should come in here and ward it.
Are they going to be able to get this Baron down? Ward goes in, and that says no. There's a teleport coming. They're going to try and lock down Mithy from this one. He's actually putting decent damage back on some Curb. He's going to fall here. Surely uses Zhonya's at the last second. Actually, no. He went down there without the use of the Zhonya. Now it's Cornex exhausted. Takes half of his damage away. They try and go for even more. In the end, though, it's going to be a 2-for-0. And NIP are going to turn back around towards that Baron area. Nuke did go very low. I don't think had his GA popped in the middle of that fight.
And we just see NIP taking full advantage of the lack of teleport from Kevin. Zoro0 stayed in the bot lane, baited out the split push here, and then because Kevin went in to clear it, instantly just set up a fight. I mean, they started Baron first, so Millenium had to come in and ward it, and then Mithy was just staying outside of the Baron pit here, starting the fight. Teleport came in, Kevin was nowhere near, and that means for Millenium side, fighting 4 versus 5. Even though they've been so strong in team fights, couldn't do anything.
5 out of 5 dragons. Both Barons going over to the Ninjas in Pyjamas. A very solid 13,000 gold lead that they now hold. Transferring over into the items, of course, Banshee's Veil for Zoro0's Irelia. We also see the Morve Malmortius now for Alberto on Evelyn. Trinity Force for Draven there for Freeze. That's a lot of big items.
A lot of big items for everyone. Still, though, they can get in the same issue where they want to continue to try and split push and Millenium can defend it. But now they just need every single lane push up. So if Cornex shows somewhere, they need to do something elsewhere on the map. I mean, it's the way for him to do it. And as long as Cornex got his ultimate, he can apply the pressure. But once he's actually gone, if they bait it out or something, that's where the issue comes from Millenium. Or one of many issues.
Not a single problem that can be fixed, I think, in this game. Still a lot of work to be done. Actually see the talisman is done as well now. So Zoro0, he is going to get you if they find you out of position. There's no way around that one. Actually was running in towards Kevin there, who did manage to get back into his base before he could be caught up. And now NIP forcing all those lanes out. In fact, Nuke has backed away down towards the bottom side of the map to start that lane pushing through. Top lane is going to be pushing through a little bit further, but they'll need to push that along manually here on the top side with another wave coming out of the Millenium base.
Seems like NIP just want to go for the dive here, because they're never going to get towards the tower with Millenium staying and with all 5 members here, so they could just try and dive onto them, try and kill everyone. A lot of armor on the side of Millenium and very little amount of magic damage from NIP, so it could be even harder for them to actually kill them.
See damage coming down. Once again, just trying to chip someone low. The problem is you're never going to get anyone from Millenium low for any long
and you're never going to get to the tower. You need to dive onto Millenium. If you keep all 5 members here, with all 5 members of Millenium, you're never going to get few hits onto it. If Freeze goes in too close to try and hit it, that's where Jerry can just sit ready with his bubble or his ultimate, try and catch onto him. If he gets knocked up or stunned by the bubble, he's just going to, everyone from Millenium just going to pile onto him and just destroy him. So, very hard for NIP, and that's why we see them go out here. Again, pushing the waves, moving a little bit towards the mid lane, come back out to push the waves. They want Millenium to react and then instantly move in here. You see Zoro0 with, again, he's very, very fast moving around. Might be in for quite a while.
Going a bit of damage onto Cornex. And to be honest, we did talk about this in the early game. The NIP, I wouldn't say struggled to close out games, but have been very, very cautious about how they finish off games. I mean, they have a gigantic gold lead at this stage, and you can see that still struggling a little bit. Do they go to the mid lane, to the bottom lane? They keep clearing out the waves. They get pushed straight back at them. And I think, as you rightly pointed out here, a dive is going to be something that could open things up for NIP.
But it's also
is very risky.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's very hard for them to dive against this Millenium comp. It's such a strong team fight. A lot of tanky members with a lot of armor. Soraka, of course, with the sustain. I mean, you don't just dive onto them and just kill them. I mean, that's not how it works here. So that's why they're playing very scared and just keep pushing out the waves. And that's perfect for Millenium. This is what they want to do. They want to go to the 50-60 minute mark. Because that's where, again, the gold difference is going to mean less and less. Once you actually pick up 5-6 items, it doesn't matter if you're 25,000 gold behind, because you got 5-6 items, the other guy got 5-6 items, so it's going to be the same anyway. So Millenium happy just waiting here, trying to delay and farm up.
A couple more items actually being picked up in the last few moments, so let's have a look through them. The Mercurial Scimitar for Nukeduck on Zed. Frozen Heart for Rise. We also saw Frozen Heart now picked up for Irelia as well. The Scimitar also picked up for Draven. So talk about those 5-6 items. NIP are already in that scenario.
Yeah, and that's why they need to try and take the advantage they have now and not wait 10-15 minutes. Even though they might lose a fight or something, they need to try and do something, because get to the 10-15 minutes more in. Millenium will be getting their last few items, and then the goal lead means absolutely nothing, and that's where it becomes really hard for NIP to do anything.
What they're going to do about this one. Actually sat back here. Realistically, Millenium got nothing out of their base. They want to keep this game going for as long as possible, soak up as much farm as they can. Baron's not coming up anytime soon. Do Millenium really even need to leave their base? No.
Not at all. Happy just staying here and farming. NIP clearing away on Freeze. Obviously he wants to sell these boots now as the last item, pick up a Zephyr by himself. That's gonna take quite a while though. He just picked up, or just upgraded his QSS before, so still a while before he can sell his boots. But still, farming away.
Nothing's gonna happen for at least 1.5 minutes here. Because
True.
NIP are waiting for that next Baron. Don't care what they'll say about this one. That's exactly what they're doing, setting up this 3-man.
And Millenium don't care.
And Millenium don't care, of course. Why would they ever risk now walking out? They know that that Baron's coming up, you know, roughly in that 1.5 minutes time area, and they've got no vision out there. They're gonna face check, and if they lose one man here, then it's over.
They don't have any wards, but they picked up 2 scrying orbs, which is very smart here in the late game. So they can use them for the vision when they want to go in and try, if they want to go in and try and stop the Baron. Use the first one when you walk in, use the next one on the Baron. So very smart pickup by Millenium. And they obviously know we're not going to get any wards in this jungle pretty much for the entire game now.
Well, we see literally nothing happening apart from minions spawning, coming in, being wiped out, waves pushed back and forth over and over. Crimson needs to be careful how far he goes out there, but I mean, even if Zed went full on into him, you've still got the wish to then back that one up. We'll have to see on that. We've got 25 seconds for Baron though. That's the point where, well, is it at the point where NIP back away, or is that the point where they back away and get Baron, or is that the point where they continue to set a trap, hoping that Millenium are going to come out looking for that Baron? No, it's not. Thank God they are backing away towards the Baron to pick that one up for a third time.
Well, Millenium, twice they gave up the Baron for NIP. Twice, not really anything happened with it. They don't want to risk going out here in an open team fight. They're just going to stay in the base. They really don't care about you getting the Baron buff now. So, not taking any chances. Quicksilver Sash on to Creaton, of course, so he can use it if Nukeduck decides to go onto him. Cleanse the ultimate from him, so he's not going to take the full amount of damage, making him even harder to kill, of course, combined with the Soraka, with the heal from Nami, with the Mikhails from Jerry as well. It's going to be hard to kill these targets. And now, third Baron buff for NIP. Last time they picked up 1 tower with it. This time around, they really need to get in the base of Millenium. And they're obviously just waiting for Millenium to make a misstep. It could be Millenium moving towards the Baron to try and stop it. NIP could turn around and kill them. But Millenium just making no mistakes, which obviously is pretty easy when all you have to do is stand in your base.
Yeah, not actually really do much apart from push those waves back. Actually, we see the entire NIP team are moving down as a unit here onto that bottom side of the map. They're going to start to push this one out. No, actually I say no major items. The random Zoma was finished off by Hulberto during that last trip.
That is actually because they need to go on, they need to dive onto Millenium, so they need this tanky frontline who can tank all the tower hits here, and that's gonna be the thing for NIP. Just they have to dive on, especially now pushing up as 4 or 5 members. Millenium are just gonna stay there with their entire team ready to clear it and force NIP into a risky situation. And I guess we can use the time now to say yes, Scrying Orb in 4.5, it was buffed. 1000 more range now and also lasts for a second longer, I believe it is. So, a fantastic trinket.
Well, built for this exact
built
scenario.
for this.
Built exactly for this. NIP now up to the steps of the bottom lane. The question is, will they trust themselves to actually go through? Lucian has got a lot of damage behind him here. We see that they move a step closer. It's Freeze that's looking for that one hit here, one hit there to try and knock that one out. Actually, Cotnex had backed away from the rest of the team.
Always join in with ultimate, of course, in case something should happen. You see Freeze moving in. He got like one hit, stepped out, got one more hit, stepped out again, and it's gonna be the way forward for NIP if they don't want to go straight into a fight. Just get a few hits every time. And that's where, of course, Thierry can try and land an MVP bubble. But whoa, ultimate I already used actually from Miffy. Decided not to go in for because he didn't hit anyone.
Damage coming down. Actually, it was Kerp that I think went the lowest out of all of them there, and the Whirling Death, the Solar Flare, both used out. Over on the other side, Kevin pops his ultimate, but that's Ryze's ultimate that doesn't take any time to be back up. They still have the big important ones, the out of Nocturne, out of Soraka, for example, the Culling as well, and Army's Tidal Wave. None of that actually used in that one. And it was an almost dive from NIP. I thought almost. They were thinking about it there, but actually they're just testing the waters a little bit.
So again, if they of course they landed ultimate on a perfect target, stunned them up, they could have maybe gone for it, trying to kill them instantly. It could also be just to try and zone Millenium away from the turret a little bit so they can get a few hits and then back away, because maybe its ultimate is already ready again, so they can try and do the same here. Land it, maybe get a few hits on the tower and then back out. They don't necessarily have to go all in just because they used ultimate.
Step forward once again, Mythic gonna get locked up. Kerp actually taking good chunk of damage, shields himself up, and that's all they need to do. They need to do this over and over and over again, but slowly but surely they will take down that turret.
They just do it so Millenium steps back a little bit once the ultimate is there. Risky. Don't want to, of course, to stay out in the front once you're already, or there's a chance you're being locked up. So actually getting some good damage onto this tower. Once they kill it, which is not going to be now, because now they're backing away. But once they actually kill it, they can take down the inhibitor, open up a lane, go towards the mid lane, try and do the same. At this point in the game, however, it's not going to be too hard for Millenium to actually defend and open or defend it from the super minions in one lane, as long as not all the inhibitors being gone.
Also saw a Guardian Angel picked up a few moments ago there, or actually it's 2 minutes ago by now, but I think relatively that is just moments ago in this game, by Cortenex there, so he'll be feeling a little bit more confident of diving in there. He's got a lot of damage after all. We've seen he's the one that's carrying most of the kills here. Bit of pressure comes on towards that bottom lane, but again, Hulberto down to half HP, Freeze down low as well. He, of course, will be just regenning all that back up with his lifesteal, and will be back up to full HP again in just a moment. That turret, though, is only just hanging on.
2 more hits from Freeze, and it's gone. They can move in towards the inhibitor here, and Millenium will be forced to actually teamfight against them without the help from the tower. Unless Millenium just gives it up for free and then go towards the next one and just prepare for the same thing until they find an opening. Again, for them, landing like a bubble from Thierry on Freeze when he moves in towards the tower can be the go-to signal. So far, though, not been landing it. And of course, Freeze also, with his own Quicksilver Slash, can remove some CC in case he gets hit by something.
That appears the Baron timer once again. Just under 2 minutes until that one comes back into the game. I think we could be seeing a 4th Baron of this second match here between Ninjas in Pyjamas and Millenium. The gold lead very much, definitely in favor of NIP, 17,000.
But still, meaning less and
less. Meaning less and less, and that's the problem that NIP might encounter. You've seen them, they're getting closer. Kevin pops his ultimate and does a lot of damage across the board.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin, look at his items, Void Staff, with all the mana items he needs as well. So he could be building into something like an Hourglass here as his last item. So, not an Hourglass, sorry, I mean something like a Randuin's Omen for even more armor, making it even harder for NIP to actually kill him. Because he got enough damage here, he doesn't actually need more damage.
Millenium stepping out almost to the inner turret range there. But again, they can't afford to face check any of these brushes. Still holding on to those two scrying orbs. Three scans as well then. NIP again just going to force out these waves and back away. Millenium actually getting a little bit braver here. I was going to say maybe push out that mid lane. They did technically push it out a little bit further than they've done for a few minutes
Hand in hand, 5 members to push the wave, backs away. No chances taking.
Going straight out of that one. Baron comes up in 30 seconds though, and I don't really see Millenium once again going for that one whatsoever.
They don't have to. I mean, same deal. Last time NIP at the Baron now, they got 85% of the HP of their bottom lane tower. Obviously that should be the target for them once they pick up the next Baron here. Millenium though, once again moving out a little bit. Let's see, and backs away. NIP waiting in the bush. We've seen this before from them, but as soon as the Baron starts, they can just switch around to it. There's a pink ward, of course. Knowing there's no vision from Millenium. They've been in this jungle for the last 2 minutes, so of course they will see if there's been any wards from Millenium side. Picking up the next Baron here, who again use less and less.
Oh, it's going to be picked up nonetheless for Ninjas in Pyjamas. That is the 4th Baron of the game. See, 6 Dragons, 4 Barons. Solid control on those 2 objectives by NIP, and of course that means heading back off home, spending, well, it's alright having a load of gold, but most of them don't really have the item slots anymore to be filling that gold into. Well, you can look at the boots and start selling off them. We'll have to see about that one. NIP are edging closer this time towards that mid lane turret. As you mentioned, though, the bottom lane is where they've done the real damage already. And the minion wave, sadly enough for them. Thing is, I'm not sure that the minions actually make any difference at this point.
No,
they get cleared out so fast.
Yeah, they just die instantly here. Just picking up a dragon, pretty much from Nifty. The only one still needs to actually get some gold. Although, there's a sidestone onto Alberto he can sell and get a different item instead, so he becomes even stronger. So the gold still means something for NIP here, very far ahead. And now pushing up here, nice check actually by Freeze, making sure Millenium were not waiting with 5 members in the Fnatic death push.
Luckily for them, they weren't, because that would have been a 5-on-3 until Alberto and Nukeduck came in. But that's maybe the kind of thing that Millenium are going to have to pull off here, some kind of surprise attack onto them. Either way, they're of course going to sit here. We see that turret has regen up now, more towards the halfway point, but I mean, if it's 1 hit or 5, it's only going to slow them down. Shouldn't make too much of a difference in the grand scheme of things. There you see it again, the minions, as I said before, don't even mean that much. They basically soak up 1 turret hit before they go down.
Yeah, but you also see Jerry. Notice, just pay attention to him whenever NIP moves in, where he puts his bubble. He actually pretty good placement here, because Freeze, if he had taken 1 more step forward, the bubble would have hit him in the face, so he decided to back away, of course. And the wave here should be cleared away, and there's another bubble. Missed. No hits from NIP onto the tower, just staying fairly healthy for now. Freeze needs to get in there and just get a hit or 2.
Getting actually, they've got to catch out Kerp here. He uses his Zonya straight away, and the Ninjas in Pyjamas turn back around. The culling coming out. Good damage from Kevin as well. And, well, that was a lot used. I say it was a lot used by NIP. It was, again, Freeze and Mithy. Yes, Sorrow Zero did put a bit of his damage down. On the other side, Creaton used the culling. Again, Kevin used his, but that's Ryzenix back up in just a second. Anyway, actually, good damage and catching Zorro Zero there. Ninjas in Pyjamas go back. We did
see all the damage from Millenium here. That was only the culling from Creaton and then all the damage from Kevin actually onto NIP, and Sword Zero was down to 50% already. Like, there's a lot of damage onto them, so they had to back away. Of course, instant cleanse onto Kerp from the Mikels from Jerry, so he could stun his Outlast. No chance of him going down. And, oh, dangerous signal actually for NIP. They're trying again.
Well, they threw in that Solar Flare. Didn't land onto anyone. In fact, NIP took more damage, I think, than what they gave out in that one. And we are looking like we're going to see a couple of recalls here from NIP. No, we're not. We're just going to see Nukeduck head back in. In fact, that wave has pushed out all the way onto NIP's side of the map. That's how long I think they've been in there, considering Nukeduck pushed it up to the steps what feels like a couple of minutes ago by now.
They should just keep Nukeduck in a different lane, like in the mid lane, keep the 4 members in the bottom lane, and then let him just push up the wave every single time. Let him go in, get a hit or 2 onto the tower, and then shadow out. do the same thing with Freeze in the bottom lane, because if an engage should happen from Millenium, Nukedog will be able to very quickly move over here, join in. Of course, his vision is going to be blocked, but still, that's the chance you actually have to take, because at the moment, Millenium, whenever a fight is about to break out, they actually do a lot of damage in return to NIP, and NIP needs to back away.
So, a bit of a change for Freeze on Draven. He saw this Scimitar, and obviously the cleanse ability from that one, and picked himself up a Guardian Angel here. Actually, did he use the Scimitar in that last one?
I don't even know.
Yeah. Possibly did, and is now going to have the cooldown on it and take the GA for the next bit of siege in action for sure. We can see the NIP here. I feel like I've got deja vu at this stage of things. They're getting wards down on the top side of the map.
They need to push the top lane though. They're just waiting for... I'm not sure. They need to push out the top lane, need to push out every single wave. I'm not sure why Millenium would move into the jungle here. Oh, they're actually going towards the tower.
Going for it. I'm not sure that Millenium can react fast enough to this one. I think this is going to be the first inhibitor turret of the game coming down. The bubble came through, but they do manage to take an inhibitor turret, and it takes a bit of a sneak push through there from NIP to get that one done. They're pinging that top lane now because they want that to start pushing through as well.
Yeah, so ignore what I said here. The reason actually they wanted to keep the top lane pushing was so Millenium didn't expect him to be nearby, because then obviously NIP would go out and push out the wave. But because they didn't, like, Millenium was like, they're down towards the bottom side, no chance. And then NIP just instantly rushing in, getting down the tower here. And we saw how little minions actually move at this point. I mean, you just rush straight in 5 members, instant kill the tower, nobody drop low or anything. It's a very good move, and now Inhibitor is open. Could be the target for NIP. Still need to be careful in these team fights against Millenium.
He's just sold out his boots now and picked up that Zephyr, so he's at full max build. Has been pretty much for a while. I think he could have afforded that before. A couple of wards coming down. We've seen Millenium at a further point on the map than they've been for what feels
20
like
minutes.
About 20. I think it is actually 20 minutes. Not that it feels like it actually is 20 minutes in this one.
Baron.
We've got another Baron coming up though.
And then Dragon afterwards.
The 5th one, yeah. I mean, they're coming up at the same time here, so I'm not sure what NIP are really gonna want to do. You know, split between it at this point. They're probably gonna take both though. That's for sure.
There's a very high chance at least they get both of them. Seems for now though, don't want to try and rush in for Inhibitor, pushing out the top wave. Millenium actually pushing up in the mid lane here.
Oh. This is a different approach, but what I feel like is they're going to get rid of this wave and then back away from things. I may be wrong.
No, they continue. Because the tower has gone to top lane now, they don't actually just want to wait in the base, they want to try and move out. They're actually going to get the vision control now around this area. Never mind, there was no wards, so the sweeping lanes actually hit nothing. However though, no vision from NIP and Millenium here. They can actually be caught out. Alberto's top.
They've actually shown themselves here. Nuke are going to put down some damage. They're going to go for freeze. The calling comes around the side. Good solo player comes in there. They're going to focus on towards Mithy. The wish was used. Cornex actually having his GA pop. Mithy goes low. Didn't actually fall. There's another big heal. They've gone for Nuke. He's got the GA now. Down. And the ultimate from Alberto comes in from around the side. Nuke jumped back in. He died to Creatine in the end. That's a 1 for nothing. Mithy's still there. Don't think Kevin quite had sight of him just around the side. Millenium might walk over for Baron. They're going to go for Baron.
They could go, yeah. Kevin gonna recall. Teleport is ready. Very, very good move. There was no wards in this area from NIP because they never expected Millenium to move out of their base. So they just stayed there, waited. Alberto went for the top lane, and then meanwhile 4 members of NIP pushed up the mid here, and they just collapsed onto them. And again, we see the team fights here, how hard it is for NIP to kill anyone. They got Cornex, but he had the Guardian Angel. He came up, instantly got healed, and then Nuke was just... He pretty much couldn't do anything, like in the fight. He went in, instantly killed him, and then the second time he came up, just did the same thing. NIP had to back away. And they got 103,000 gold. But it doesn't actually mean anything anymore.
I was going to say, it could be 103 million gold, but you can only have those items that fit in your backpack, which right now I see Ravenous Hydra actually picked up for Nuke. He sold his Guardian Angel and picked up a Banshee's Veil in there as well. Did anything else change? Alberto picked up
He sold his Elder Lizard,
yeah.
Picked up a Thorn Mail here. So keeping the Sight Stone, keeping the Vision. It's becoming more and more tanky, but he doesn't actually need to think about, well, of course you want to stay alive as long as possible, but his damage is non-existent anymore. Same goes for the rest of NRP actually. Like Sword of Zero and Freeze are the big damage dealers now. Of course, Nuke can do a lot of damage, but it's very hard for him to get in and do anything. And then you just want to have Roberto being like as tanky as possible to try and survive. But Millenium now in the driving seat, moving up here. And again, lack of wave clear from NRP side could be a big issue here because Millenium will be able to get a few more hits on the tower every time than NRP was up in their base.
And if someone tanks it, they've got double heal as well to give them the HP straight back in as Nuke trying to get some damage down there from the side. Worried though, from Millennium's side, they were always a team that struggled to close out when they had a lead. Now they know that they've managed to claw themselves back in a position in the game where they could actually end up winning. How decisive are they going to be? That was always the problem for them before, to make the right calls at the right time.
And a big problem for them now as well is that the Guardian Angel is on, like, it's down from Codename. So once he actually jumps in, he's going to be the target for NRP to kill. And we saw before, they could actually take him down, but then as he would respawn, they couldn't take him down twice. This time around, no Guardian Angel, he will jump in, be the target to kill. Then of course, you still have to go through the Rise. There's also the Soraka doing a lot here, all these being very annoying.
So we see NIP have taken the standing role of Millenium now on their inner turret there in the mid lane. And try and push things back. A blue buff here for Creatine. Blue buff for Millenium, not something that they'll certainly be used to.
It's been a while. Who actually took the Dragon? It's still up. Dragon is still up. We gave all the viewers false hopes. The Dragon wasn't going to go down.
Millenium will take it.
Do you think?
Well, I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure anymore what's going to happen in this game. I predict a little bit longer time, though. There could be another Baron involved in that if we...
Possibly.
I mean, let's be honest here. We're kind of approaching 10 Barons in this game. So
we could
a lot of Barons.
Yeah. Unless Millenium decides they want to do this, get a few hits onto the tower, back out a little bit, and then maybe even go for the dive at some point. You see, he actually got about 20% of the tower just on the first wave, so they can do it again. Creatine go in, get the double auto attack. He got his dash. He's a lot more safe than Draven when it comes to hitting these towers late game, because he can just dash out in case something should happen. And now actually, ignoring the minions, that's it. NRP, lack of wave clear, not able to actually remove Millenium or push them away.
Step in there, Millenium now. They've still got 2 more inner turrets to actually take before they almost mirror what Ninjas in Pyjamas have been able to achieve.
Big wave top
just before that. Yeah, that big wave is coming in. You see that Nukeduck's moved up, but he knows he can't push out too far here because all the wards that they had down were cleared out. There's a scrying orb coming in. It's Nukeduck that actually has that for himself, and they managed to pick up one of the NIP blue buffs here, which is certainly been a while since they've stolen the buff away, that's for sure. That wave is going to continue to push down. NIP have already got all 5 men there to try and defend this one.
And really,
a pause.
There's a pause.
Well, didn't expect that after 65 minutes. We'll see.
Well, so another thing for NIP obviously is the lack of poke. I mean, they won't be able to do any damage to Millenium, so they can just safely go and hit the tower. Do the same thing.
So it was actually Freeze who paused the game, so we'll see exactly what the problem is there with that one. Just to give you a recap of the game as a whole, not everything that's happened, because that would be probably another 65 minutes of talking about this single game. We are 65 almost minutes in there, 12-9 in kills. Not masses of kills for a 65-minute game.
Nope.
108,000 gold to 88,000 gold, so it's still a 20k gold lead for Ninjas in Pyjamas, but it's Millenium, of course, that have that Baron, or had the Baron running. I'm not sure if that's still running in there for them. Either way, it's going to be either just about to finish, or it has just finished, either side of that. Pretty much everyone is now outside of the supports up to 6 items as well, and this is a state of the game where if one person goes down, it opens up the floodgates for either team to push straight back and win. You'd hope.
One mistake from, doesn't matter who, like before, you could say it was a mistake by Roberto to go top lane, but of course they didn't have any vision of Millenium, so it was a team mistake from NIP that gave them the Baron over to Millenium and a kill. And also, again, made Millenium actually be the aggressive team now. So one mistake as a team or as a player, and everything can just be gone. The game can be over. And trust me, as a player, when you're in these very, very long games, it is so hard to keep your focus going. Like, mistakes will happen because you can't just sit and focus for over an hour, like full focus, full try hard onto a game, and when it lasts for this long, you get to the point also, especially for an IP here. I mean, they can definitely get to the point where they start, I would even say, getting mad because of the fact they were so far ahead and they didn't use the advantage they had with the split pushing, and Cotnex did so much work against them, so he just managed to shut down the whole split pushing part, and they stopped doing it and ended up doing nothing for like 20-25 minutes because they didn't feel like they could do anything. So they're going to look back at the game, of course, and say, wow, we were so far ahead, we did absolutely nothing, we messed it up, we might even now give over the entire game to Millenium.
Yeah, and imagine if they do end up losing this game. That must be pretty soul-crushing to go through an epically long match where you were stood on the steps of their base for so long and still end up losing it, knowing that it's now 1-1 and you've got to win another 2 games to go through. In the same sense, Millenium were just waiting almost for the inevitable there for such a long time, and then managed to actually pull something off to claw themselves back into a favorable position. If they win this game, imagine the confidence boost that gives them.
Well, that's going to be huge for them, especially, again, a player like Cotnex, because he was the guy who kept them in the game. Like, for him, it's going to be like, wow, I performed so well this game. If I can keep doing this, I can carry my team back into the LCS.
Yeah.
So that's obviously going to be huge. He's still actually the new guy on the team. Played a few weeks in the LCS, but still fairly new on the team here. But again, for NIP, they had the chance to win this game over half an hour ago. Like, they were so far ahead, they could have split push it out. They could have played better around the Nocturne. But they didn't, and instead they just gave up on the entire split push when they still had the chance to actually kill someone like Kevin in a 1v1, and now, of course, Kevin is not going to die from it. Meaning, we got what we got.
Good news, everyone. Pause is over. We're back into game. 65 minutes in. Millenium are pushing down towards the inner turret. Actually, they've gone in here. They're going to go for Kevin. That's some good damage for Alberto. Once again, getting caught out. He will actually flash away as the calling does come through. If we look at the health bars, Alberto, the one that took the brunt of the damage. Everyone from Millenium, even if they did take damage, they have since then been healed back up by Kerp on Soraka, by J-Rick as well, on Nami at this stage of things. Another wave coming through. We've already surmised that waves don't mean all that much, but as they get closer here, we see NIP with
tower.
One man having to back away. Alberto wasn't there, and they take down the inner turret. That leaves us at 7-5 in towers now.
So NIP tried to land engage here onto Millenium and then try and just straight up engage, but nobody got stunned by Miffy, and Zoro never actually got in there. So once Alberto showed up, he was going to be the target, had to flash away. And we just see the way Millenium in these fights, as soon as the engage comes in from NIP, they just pop Talisman and go the opposite way, backs away from the entire engage, and then they can turn around if NIP chases. And that's what we saw here. So we need a perfect ultimate from Miffy, and then we just need NIP to pile onto someone and just instantly kill them. But it's so hard because, again, yes, you can stun the Soraka so she won't be able to use her Hourglass, but then there's just the Mikhails onto Jerry. He can use it onto him, cleanse him from the stun. He can pop the Hourglass. We saw it earlier in the game. Honestly, I mean, they might even want to try and land the stun onto someone like Jerry, because he's actually the guy who can die instantly. I know it's not ideal to kill the support at this point, but the Mikhails onto yourself, I believe it actually only heals you, cleanse the stun. So he could be a target for them, but obviously you don't want to invest so much onto the support.
Such a tense game at this point. Millenium there just going back to shop. We're now going to be getting back involved on things. Pushing down this middle lane onto the steps of the base. We've got 50 seconds until Baron number 7?
5 or... No, 4 maybe for NIP? I think number 6
it's 5-1.
Is it?
I think it's the 7th Baron. It's a lot of Barons. Apparently 6 Barons, so
yeah.
It's been a lot of Barons. I think the number at this point doesn't matter all that much. As again, Millenium forced away from this mid lane. Nukeduck trying to get some damage from over the side. That Baron is coming up in 20 seconds, and I wonder if NIP actually want to fight for this one.
Well, they kind of have to, because when they're just waiting, Millenium always gets some hits on the tower. It's just a matter of time before they will take them down. So NIP, they're actually forced to try and fight. Where NIP, of course, or Millenium beforehand, they could just turtle pretty much and just farm away, extend the game. And now once again, ward coming in from Berto, not doing the same mistake as earlier. Second ward is there, cleared as well. Millenium staying around this area here. None of the teams actually got really good vision control. Nobody has a ward on Baron, so it could be started very fast by one of the teams.
Or
Or you could go for the
or
top
they
tower.
could go for the towers here, and that looks like the plan from the Ninjas in Pyjamas. Zoro going through. Actually, Nukeduck is clearing the wave itself, so they don't go for the same tactic as before, which was just rush straight on towards that tower, kill it down as quickly as possible. Kevin went over there. He's got teleport, let's not forget. Millenium are moving towards Baron, not exactly completely to Baron because they don't have any actual vision of the Baron pit itself, all very deep into the river. They don't know that NIP are in their side of the jungle. What are they going to do? Are they going to go Baron, or are they going to take a play down towards that middle turret? There we see the talisman coming in. Zoro dashes forward, but backs away. His Banshees has now been popped. Mithy looking to get in. They've managed to lock up Kerp. They're going to go for Kerp on this one. Julie, he uses the Zonias, and it's Kevin that goes down first. Cornex now will be the next focus. He's getting big heals going through from this one. His Guardian Angel now popped. Kerp gonna come from the side. The Colleen coming in as well. Cornex comes back to life and they turn around. Focus on towards Kerp. He flashes away to the back. Cornex low. Zoro Zero though goes down. And now it's NIP that have to back away. This is a 2-for-1. Millenium have got the advantage. NIP are running.
Big mistake by NIP here. They actually decided to split up the damage once Cornex came back up from his Guardian Angel here. They could have killed him instantly. Instead, they went some went for Kerp, some went for Creaton here, some went for Cornex. It meant, of course, with the sustain from Nami, from Soraka, Millenium got out ahead here. Creaton stayed in the back. Soul Zero actually jumped towards him as the only member. Meanwhile, then Cornex so low, didn't get to kill him here. Means the Baron for Millenium and a one-team fight.
Another Baron going down. We're about to hit the 70-minute mark. Second of 6 Barons. Okay, so we've almost had as many Barons as Dragons in this game.
Well, because the last Dragon actually is still alive. Nobody wants the Dragon anymore.
Apparently not.
Do it for the supports, man. They need to go.
They still could do with it a little bit. They're moving up towards the 5-6 item mark. If you look down some of the total golds there, look at Freeze, 31,000 miles ahead of everyone.
But what are you going to use 31,000 gold for? I mean, the only thing you can do is have a Guardian Angel and sell it once it's popped and buy something else, which is what he's going to do. I'm actually not sure if Nukeduck had his Guardian Angel for the last team fight. I think he actually had sold it because it was on cooldown. And then he went into the backline, he died. And now obviously his Guardian Angel is ready because he just reboarded here. So he didn't have it for last fight. That's obviously a big deal here. Cornex Guardian Angel is down for this fight, meaning he could be the target, or Kevin could be the target again. With Sonya's though, it's gonna be hard to kill.
They are going to start to step forward, and we saw it before that Millenium can get onto these towers, can step forward, and NIP have been forced to back away a number of times from them. Again, the minions being cleared out. They're still using the minions as a guide for stepping back and forth when I think they can afford. It's not really about the damage I think that tower's doing, it's about the chance of one of them getting locked up by someone. Get rid of those minions. Cornex actually moving forward once again, but Millenium very cautious about how far out they go.
Soul Zero though, taking a lot of damage from Kevin every time he moves closer. Nukeduck bottom, they should mean the tower from Millenium.
Yeah, they are going to throw in there. Damage coming out towards Kevin. They dive in towards that backside. As it's Mithy that's right in the middle of them. He may just go down. He will fall. Freeze is at half HP. Zoro Zero has gone down as well. It's now a 5 versus 3. This is surely it for Millenium. 70-second spawn timers. I was going to say go for the Nexus turrets here. Nukeduck dives into the middle of them. He puts down the death mark. He's surely going to get finished off. His GA does get popped, but when he comes up, they'll lock him down. Kevin picks up that kill. Millenium turn around for the Nexus turrets. They take both of them down. NIP have to flash away, and Millenium, after 72 minutes and what feels like an eternity hiding inside their base, turn it around and pick up game 2. Incredible.
So they simply got to the point again where the big goal lead for NIP meant absolutely nothing. 6 items on every single member except for the jungler. Nukeduck became a non-factor because of Quicksilver Sash. We had the hourglasses as well. Like, there was nobody he could go for and kill. He was basically just bait in every single fight here. And it just meant the team fights were so much stronger for Millenium, and they used it to their advantage, and now it's a 1-for-1.
Absolutely insane game. 6 Barons, you see the left from Kevin. To be honest, I'd be laughing if I was in their scenario as well, because they spent 20 minutes stood on their inhibitor turrets just waiting for NIP to do something. NIP themselves were setting up traps inside of the Millenium jungle,